I slept on this champion for way too long. Hello everybody, I'm Roadblock, and this is a Raid Shadow Legends video. Today we are talking about another faction Unity champion. I love highlighting these guys, right? Because, I mean, obviously, because it's awesome that I got one. But they're fun. I like the faction Unity champions. Some of them are underwhelming, of course, but I like the idea that they did. Some of my favorite version of games are ones where there are themes around a specific faction or race or something along those lines. And so I like the idea that, you know, if you can build a whole Shadowkin team, it's kind of cool, right? So, and likewise, like with the Dwarf team and Beast teams. And I think these teams are very, very effective in Siege as well, because you can set those limitations on those champions. So, but let's talk about Tetsuya. I am a big fan of this guy, and I just built him a few hours ago. So let me give a little backstory here. When you guys saw me pull him, I was like, oh, cool, another faction Unity. I won't be mad at that, right? Little did I know, this guy was really good. And how did it come about? Well, I was just kind of toying with some ideas of champions to use. And I was like, is this guy even good? I want to know how to use this guy. And I went and I looked him up on Hell Hades, and I found out that he is rated as a 5-star champion, and that's out of 5. I was very surprised because I did not know. Listen up, I just got a new promo link that you can use to follow along with me on my latest free-to-play adventure and get a free Elenaril as well as 3 more powerful epics as you level up. Here's how to do it. Log out of Plarium Play and uninstall. Click the link in the description and register with a brand new email. Launch Raid and complete the tutorial. Go to your inbox and claim your first champ. Don't miss out on your chance to get Elenaril right after signing up, as well as Fayne, Uugo, and Tagoar as you progress through Raid. Click on my link right now and let's crush this together. That he was kind of good. And I'm actually like really obsessed right now. As weird as this is, I am obsessed with the fact that he's holding a sword and this is where that sword goes. But where does the other sword go? There's no other empty slot right now. Also, these swords that are through the cloth don't go anywhere. But yeah, I was really excited to pull him, but I didn't know that he was good. So I was on Hell Hades looking up champions. I found out he was rated 5-star, and I was like, well, I gotta build this guy. What do you like that's one of my strongest factions. I really need to build him. And so I did. I took the time to build him. I used gems for masteries. I put some gear on him. Here are the stats I have on him. These are not very like great. I would like a little bit more attack and quite a bit more crit damage, to be honest with you. However, remember that he doesn't have a blessing yet at all, you know, let alone a 4-star blessing to get that extra crit damage. And I kind of wanted him to be pretty fast as well. So I also don't have a damage dealing relic on him, but we're going to talk about that in a little bit. My gear did roll pretty well. Like I've got attack on the chest, crit damage. I've got crit rate here. That is something that I feel like, because I do have 103%, that if I ever re-roll that and get crit damage, I could probably find more crit rate on another one of these pieces to kind of facilitate that extra crit damage. But this is kind of just a thrown together build. It's definitely not the final form, and I did prioritize speed quite a bit with him as well. So, and let's talk about that. Let's go over his kit very, very quickly. No books on him at the time of this recording because I'm going to book him out during Clan versus Clan upcoming, so it didn't make sense to do it now with Clan versus Clan being less than a week away at this point. So, but yeah, let's go over the kit. The A1 attacks one enemy, fills the turn meter of all allies by 10% if this attack is critical. Well, he has a 100% crit rate, so provided they're not Force Affinity, a very, very good chance that we're going to get that 10% turn meter fill, which I think is really, really good, by the way. So then we have the A2, books down to a 3-turn cooldown, attacks one enemy 2 times, will place 2 extra hits if the target's turn meter is less than 50%, and will ignore a percentage of the target's defense that is equal to the target's current turn meter. Resets the cooldown of this skill if the target is killed. Now, I'm going to be honest with you, I don't know how all of this works. I'm going to assume ignore a percentage equal to the target's current turn meter. So if they're at 100% turn meter, this is ignoring a ton of defense. And then even if it's only ignoring 40% defense, there's an extra hit. So I think this is just a good ability in general, and then resets the target. I want to make sure I read that right. 2 extra hits. So it'll triple hitter if they have less than 50% turn meter. And then, yeah, so this is going to hit hard. And it's important to keep that in mind because I still haven't figured out exactly how to use him, I would say. Like, there's some intricacies in that, right? Do I want to go with the A2 or do I want to go with the A3, which attacks one enemy, steals 100% of target's current turn meter, and places a True Fear debuff for 2 turns. Sorry, I realize now I do want to open with this ability. The turn meter, steal effect, and True Fear debuff cannot be resisted or blocked if you have 1 faction ally. With 2 faction allies, increase the damage inflicted by this skill based on the difference between the speed and the target's speed. 3, which is why I built him for speed. 3 will also attack all other enemies with more than 50% turn meter, steals 100% of each target's current turn meter, and places True Fear on them for 2 turns. So I'm realizing now, which is why I love making these videos, because you read it out loud and it makes way more sense. You're stealing their turn meter, then attacking them with what would be maybe 20%, which means this will be a triple hitter, provided this didn't kill them in the first place, which it probably will, because this is ranked very highly for its damage. But if it didn't kill them, well, then you can kill them with this ability, in theory. And remember that True Fear and the turn meter steal can't be resisted or blocked. So once he gets that turn, he good. Real good, because you're gonna essentially get an extra turn out of that with the 100%. But even if you don't on the initial 100%, which you will because it can't be blocked or resisted, he's gonna also steal turn meter of 3 other dudes. Like, it's so good. Then we have the passive. Fills this champion's turn meter by 15% whenever an enemy champion takes a turn. Turn meter increase effects used on allies are 20% more effective. Turn meter increase effects used on enemies are 20% less effective. Whenever this champion has their turn, that's with 1 faction ally. Whenever this champion has their turn meter filled, increases the damage of their next attack by 5%. Resets after a skill is used. All allies are immune to turn meter reduction effects from enemies. This guy's kit is really good, and I slept on it. I don't know how I slept on it. Maybe because there's so much to read that I just kind of go, I'll worry about it later. But when you really break it down and analyze everything, it's pretty freaking good. So we already went over his stats a little bit. I'm using Journal of Necrotos because I don't just to increase the turn meter from this A1. And we'll talk about that a little bit, right? Because I want him with the full faction. And when you think about the Shadowkin faction and you think about turn meter boosting, who really comes to mind for you? For me, it's Lady Kimmy, because I have several Lady Kimmys. I think I have 3 total Lady Kimmys in the faction. I could be wrong. I've got 3 Lady Kimmys. So that gets me really excited. And Lady Kimmy is sneaky good. I don't think she gets enough credit because of, ultimately, I think it's because of her aura being Doom Tower only. It makes it just a little bit underwhelming, if you will, because you can't use it anywhere else. And that's kind of her whole thing, is speed. And there aren't that many great speed auras other than Shuzen for Shadowkin, right? You've got Shuzen, which is 30% in Arena, who I don't have. But then, you've got Arashi, who I have, but I'm not going to use him just for a 28% aura, especially since I'm going to use Tetsuya's aura anyways, which is 19%. So yeah, there just aren't that many good auras for speed. You do have Genbo, as well. It was 20%, which is actually really, really good in the grand scheme of things. What's Blade Masters? Is hers Dungeons? Yeah. So I would love Shuzen at this point. Shuzen is another one that's just way up at the top of my list because she would pair so freaking well to Tetsuya and would basically be a replacement for Lady Kimmy. But for right now, Lady Kimmy is going to be what I'm going to go with. So we'll hop into a couple arena battles here and I'll kind of show you. So we'll go up against this Arbiter and we'll look at the team real quick before we do so. So one of the reasons I'm so excited about Tetsuya is because I have Harima and she's one of the only champions on my account that is 6-star fully awakened. She hits really, really hard. Unfortunately, I don't have an increased defense champion in this team for her, but you know, I don't really use an increased defense with her anywhere else anyways. So she still hits hard enough without it that I'm okay with that, especially since we're using a second damage dealer as well. Lady Kimmy is my speed booster, and you can't have a Shadowkin team without Mikage. So yeah, let's go ahead and jump into it. Now, this is actually going to be a weak team for me because Fabian is still a really good counter to this team because lockout isn't something that we can avoid. We can avoid turn meter stuff, but not lockout. And that's really annoying. Hopefully we win the speed battle and it becomes a non-issue. So let's see. There we go. So we go ahead and give ourselves speed. We do steal some buffs there as well. And now we get to kind of go from there. Now you could do a few different approaches. Fabian is a bit of a threat for me, and if you look at my turn meter, I am gonna go next. So I'm gonna try and weaken this Stone Skin here with some of my really hard hitters. Did you guys see how hard that A1 hit through that Stone Skin? I don't know. I found that pretty impressive. So here, we want to steal turn meter. We can't do that to somebody that's in Stone Skin, so we're not going to target the Stone Skin. We will target the Arbiter because it's guaranteed to land with her being Void Affinity. Look at those hits. Those were good freaking hits. And Fabian's now gone, so we can hit Fabian. That only did 42, but so not terrible, but remember, that could have been a triple hitter. So that one doesn't hit quite as hard, but that one hit did hit hard. That A3, which is what I saw on Hell Hades and was like, ooh, that's good. So here we have Stone Skin again. I really kind of want to whittle that Stone Skin down if I can, using the hard hits of my really good nukers here. And then again, we can just target, boom, boom. Look at that. That was through the remainder of a Stone Skin, and we get another turn. And we just go ahead and finish him off. He hits so hard with that A3. Here we go again. I really just want to weaken these Stone Skins if I can. You know, because we're hitting so hard with this ability that we can kind of go through that Stone Skin. And then we can just finish him off with all the turn meter that we stole, right? Obviously, I'm winning all these speed battles, so if I lose the speed battle, it can be a pretty big problem, which, you know, just hasn't happened yet. But here now we have kind of a more interesting one. There's no Stone Skin on the table here. Lazarius is a threat, so we can just take out Lazarius. And that A1 does hit kind of hard. I'm not going to do like a full breakdown in a wave clear type setting. Oh, I forgot. Yeah, he has that complete. I just picked somebody. I didn't even think about that. But yeah, like, you know, the question here becomes, would you still win these battles? Like, you're winning these battles by winning the speed battle, but could I win these battles with another champion that exists on my account? If I just had Arbiter speeding up like an increased defense champion and then using Harima, you know, could I still win these battles? Like, is this guy really making the difference or not? That's up for debate, right? Like, we really don't know the answer to that. I don't want to kill the bomb champion yet, so do that and this. Cool. So let's refresh. Let's see if we can get some slightly harder teams here. Maybe even somebody faster than us. They've got a Siffy here. Let's see how fast this team is. Okay, they won the speed battle, but we still cut in, right? We get a little turn meter there. So Siffy has a lot of health, and I'm a little worried about that. So let's hit the Siffy here. Weaken her up a little bit. That sleep sucks. That sleep really sucked. So unfortunately, we don't get to see what he does. We'll steal some of their turn meter. Give me turn meter. We removed the fear off of him with the passive there, so we do get to see what he does. Here we go. Siffy's really low, so let's go ahead and take out the Siffy. Big, massive hits, and then we have an unkillable here. Unkillable is a little bit frustrating, but in just a second here, we will go ahead and reduce that, and we'll just A1 that down. So, yeah, this guy is fun. Oh, here we go. Here's a Terras. Let's see what we can do here. I feel like these teams are kind of weak, and I feel bad about that, but... Okay, well, a Stone Skin Arbiter is a little awkward. I wonder, can we kill Terras here? Let's see. Oh, we can. Pretty good hits. Almost went through that Stone Skin. Okay, that does hit pretty hard. That one hit pretty hard. Why did it do an extra hit? I gotta look at this. We gotta look at his kit real quick. Why did that do an extra hit? I might be misunderstanding something, and I would rather catch it at the end of the video so that all you that put comments will be like, oh wait, no, you realized at the end. Oh, it's a default 2-hitter. My bad. I thought it was a single hitter. I may have screwed that up earlier. It's a default 2 times hitter, and then you get 2 extra hits if they're less than 50%. So, wow, a double hitter, and she was full turn meter, which means we ignored almost all of her defense. Wow, really, really good champion. Really good champion. I freaking snoozed on this guy so hard. Like, can you imagine? Like, I don't know if my editor can replay my reaction to when I pulled him, but I was like, because who was I? I was going for Leonardo, I think, right? And I was like, oh, it's not Leonardo, but hey, it's okay. And it's like, little did I know that this guy is really good. Not to mention his auras, which we didn't talk about yet, are 19% speed in all battles and then crit rate in all battles, which I don't really need. Like, I could play into that if I really wanted to and like build some 85% crit rate Harima. And I wonder if I should build this guy to 85% crit rate, actually. That makes so much sense. And that's a really... Okay, so there's my answer right there. Get that extra crit damage out of this and build him to 85% crit rate, because I'm always going to have crit rate with him. He's my leader. I like that idea a ton. And that's speed in all battles as well, which again is very, very good in Siege. So I'm going to go rebuild him and make him hit even harder than what you guys just saw, because I just realized that, which is awesome. Really, really love this guy. Hey, if you were lucky enough to pull him and you thought like I did, oh, okay, he's not one of the better faction unities. He is. He is good. And I highly recommend you guys check him out and give him a playthrough, because I'm having so much fun with him. And I'm excited because I think he's only going to get better. I literally built him today, so no books even yet. He's not booked yet. Again, his gear isn't optimized because he has that 15% crit rate. So I've got so much room for improvement here. I am so excited. He can only get better than what he is, and he already feels so freaking good. I'm actually really thrilled to try him in something like Hydra as well, just because I think he might be a really big damage dealer. He doesn't bring any of the required buffs and debuffs and stuff, but I think in something like a hard Hydra team, he might really prove to be valuable with all that turn meter from his A1, right? Like, turn meter generation, we just saw it on this channel with Senna. I recommend checking out that video. Turn meter generation is so valuable, and if you can just churn out that turn meter, you can really make some crazy things happen. So, all right, guys, I'm just gonna say thank you so much for watching. If you are new here, please consider subscribing. That is the best way to support my channel, and I look forward to seeing all of you in the next video. Take care.